Welcome to Behind Life Struggles, episode 6. I'm your host, Nosy. I'd like to welcome my co-host, Links. How you doing?
I'm good, sir. How is everyone? How are the ladies?
Good.
Very good.
Good. I'm happy to see everyone.
Great to
Happy.
I would also like to welcome my guest, Simone. How you doing?
Hey. Yes, thank you. I'm good.
Good.
It's not raining,
Right.
so I'm just happy now.
And last but not least, Liz. How you doing?
Great. It's good to see everybody.
That's the
You
energy
too.
that I want to hear. So, we're going to dive straight into our current affairs. And I will start with Liz. Have you got one that you want to talk about? She's like, nah, no.
Neither.
Okay, Links, you got one you want to discuss? He's like, look,
I'm trying to think of. You know what? No, but I listen to the news daily, so I'm trying to think of what has happened this week that riled me up. Hold on, let me think.
Okay, so while you're thinking,
Hmm.
I will jump in and I will speak about one, and you can obviously discuss
Yeah.
once you've thought about it. So, the one that I want us to discuss is about pensions. So, I'm not sure how many of you know about pensions.
Yep, I
Yes?
do.
You just look at me blank,
I've got a workplace pension.
or has she frozen? Oh,
She froze.
right.
She's back now.
Sorry.
Yeah, that's how I was when I was younger. Yes. So I'm not sure how much you guys know about pensions, but you know that they've increased the age. So from, I think it was 2026, it's going up to 67.
Wait, before you can claim it.
Yes. So you are aware that when you hit 55, you can claim about 25%. But obviously, for you to claim the full thing, you have to be obviously at the state pension age, which is 67.
What's the retirement age again?
67.
And
So
us as West Indian men, how long do we live again? Because last time I checked, yeah, it's not that long, you know. Like, so what? You're giving me 2 years, like 4 years,
Spend your
what's
money.
going on? Yeah, like, bro. Nah, where's my calculator at? Yeah, the government's trying to pull a fast one. Like, no.
Oh, Paulson, I've got some more good news for you. They're looking to
What's
extend it. So they are looking to extend it to 68.
What?
Yes.
Taking the Mickey.
How do you feel about that, Simone?
I'm not very happy. I was just thinking to myself, I am not working till I'm 68. And I was curious, is it a different age for gents or is it the same for ladies and gents?
Equality.
It's across the
Yeah,
board.
it's changed now, so they're both the same.
Yeah, that doesn't excite me. I'm not going to lie. That does not excite me at all. I'm good. That's why I had 3 children. I got 3 children to look after me by the time I get there. Before I get there, so I don't have to work.
Yeah, that kids before.
So, Natural Love Song, how do you feel about that? Being forced to work up to your 68 before you can claim a state pension?
I'm not claiming that. I'm not receiving that. We're doing other things. We're not depending on that because I want to be living my best life where I want, how I want. If I want to be working somewhere, then that's great. But having to, because oh no, that's not nice. 68. Not feeling it.
Now, if you're lucky, you might get another 10, 15 years of your life. If you're lucky.
If. That's a big if.
That's really, do you know why? Maybe they think not the cost of living, I mean, the life expectancy is longer. So therefore, we're having to pay for the elderly that are still alive now and so on and so forth. So I can see why they've done it, but that doesn't mean I'm happy about it.
And you, Links, how do you feel?
Links ain't happy.
faces.
Yeah, my brain's doing numbers trying to figure out how I can pull a Prince Philip. Like, I'm dead serious. That's why you can see it in my face. I'm just like, yeah, my brain's just like, bro, how are we gonna do this? Like, I'm looking at my immune system and my heart, and I'm like, you gotta keep going. I don't know.
You know, though when you're younger, you don't really care about all that pension stuff. Who cares about pensions? You know, that's for old people. But once you get older, it's something you have to start thinking about, because even for the state pension, you have to have a certain amount of qualifying years for you to get the full whack. And qualifying years, you have to work a certain amount of time within that year in order to qualify. So I don't know how many people even know about all this.
Well, we should ask all the jobless people. That's the most important people that should know about it.
Yeah.
So yes, I read about that and I thought, wow, 67. I thought, then 68. I thought, that's just ridiculous. And you can see, I wouldn't be surprised if they push it up to 70. Like, you know.
No, I think that's unreasonable. I mean, I already think 68, 67 is unreasonable.
Yeah, I agree.
I think it should be at 60. 55, 60 max.
But then the issue is, then that person potentially could have, 20 plus years to live. So who's going to pay for that 20 years?
Oh boy, they already put in the first, 40 already? Sorry, I just think it's too much. Nobody wants to work that long. And let's remember, not everyone's business minded. If you're self-employed and stuff, then you got an income that, you're making money while you're sleeping. Some people's careers are hospitality, whatever. So that's a very long time to be working and then hoping that you're going to retire and enjoy the remaining moments of your life and live to see it. That's harsh.
Yeah. And some, unfortunately, when they do retire, they end up dying.
And then who gets the money? The next of kin?
The government, if you ain't got a will.
Shut up.
Yeah.
Where's the piece of paper? Elijah, get me a pen and paper.
Serious. If you ain't got a will, the government takes it.
Not today. Not today. I'd rather give it to my dog before I gave it to Boris.
Well, any member of your family can actually claim for it. As long as obviously they're like either a sibling or your mum, your dad, your children, they can put a claim. That's why they do say it's best to have a will. Because then the government doesn't have to step in and
sort it for you.
Unfortunately, another issue in the Black community, not many have wills. And I'm wondering whether it's a superstitious thing where you think that if I make a will, I might dead soon. But yeah, even me, I've known about it for a long time, and I've been, R-ing. I know what I want to put in it. I know what I want to do, but it's just the fact that to go and do it, I'm thinking it's a bit
morbid, yeah.
Yeah, and even like life insurance.
Oh, I've had life insurance a long time.
But even that, I think, is another thing with the sort of Black community, and making sure that their family is good in the unfortunate scenario that something happens.
Yeah,
I'm not sure what they think. What's going to happen, but I don't do life insurance. What's your view on life insurance?
I am guilty of not thinking that it was something that was important for a really long time. And yeah, I just think it's like what you were saying about the wills. Like you kind of think, oh, I'm fine, I'm healthy, I'm still young-ish, so what do I need to worry about that now for? I think it's just like careless, really. It's just, yeah.
And this is it. This is something I feel like we only think about, or speak for myself. I never considered life insurance before I had a child. At all. So do we think of this because now we have families and we want to protect them, but that shouldn't stop singletons thinking, well, actually, in the event of my passing, I don't want to unload the burden to someone to pay for it, etc. Exactly. So we should equally be as singletons be considering that possibility as well.
I'll be honest, I'm not a big fan of insurances because you need to understand how they work. And you could be paying in for 25 years.
Not getting back out.
If you don't die in that time frame, it's all gone. So, Linked, you ready?
Yeah, the only thing I can think of The only thing I can think of this week was two things happened. I was listening to LBC. The first one was they were talking about electric cars and whether they. I think an MP, a Conservative MP, mind you, said it's a much more convenient for her to have a diesel car than a petrol car, and everyone was coming down on her. That was calling in, and I'm like, she's not lying though. And then, you know, they do this thing where they don't pick up on the nuances that people are saying. Well, if you find a fast charger, it can only take you 30 minutes to charge your car to 80%. And I'm like, yeah, but that's if you find a fast charger. And even then, that's 30 minutes of your day. Like, and that's if you roll up and the fast charger is free. Like, there's no one there. Like, and how much does that cost? And all the people they were speaking to were like the CEO of AA, the president of some next thing. And I'm like, this shows you how the electric car variant of any car is like 10 grand cheaper. And I looked into it. I mean, 10 grand more expensive. And it would take you a decade to recuperate the benefits of buying that electric car over the petrol variant. Yeah. So obviously the government's forcing us to get an electric car. 2030, I think they're banning the sales of new cars, petrol cars. And and petrol's now at the highest price it's ever been. So I'm wondering how we all feel about that. Like, are we all on this electric car hype?
Do you know what? My favorite movie has always been The Fifth Element, and I have a dream that one day I will just drive through the sky. So I'm excited. I'm excited.
You know, I can relate to that because as a kid, Back to the Future 2 with the flying cars and the hoverboards, and that was set in 2015. So my whole life I've been getting gas for 2015, which was like 6 years ago now. And I'm like, Back to the Future lied to me. Do you know how upset I am?
So true.
Like, I was looking forward to that day, you know. I was like, oh my gosh, watch when that day comes, Mum. Watch when that day comes. I might be dead by that day. Like,
I'm all for fashion and technology and things like that. So I think that's exciting personally.
Yeah. How about you, Lids?
I don't know. Like, I think a lot of these things that come, like the Johnny come lately ideas and, you know, climate change, this and that, it all sounds good, but then like there's people that's gonna like be crushed by all these new different policies and stuff. It's like there's always gonna be a disenfranchised group.
Yeah.
And we kind of don't know.
And that's gonna be us, if I'm honest.
Huh?
I think that group is gonna be us. Because again, people who were talking were saying, oh, a lot of people have driveways now and you can just hook up the electric charger to your driveway. I've got a driveway, yeah, but I'm under no illusion that all my peers and friends have driveways. Like, so what? You're meant to run an electric cable from your balcony down and charge your car? Like,
your car.
They're saying all these things that just show they're not in touch with people. Like, also the infrastructure for everyone to have an electric car, you have to change the power grid structure. It's not just simply that everyone can get an electric car. Because if we all run out tomorrow and got one, the power grid couldn't support it. So who's going to pay for that? Like, I don't know.
And when technology does break down, because it does, power cuts, all that jazz, or what happens? I mean, there are the cons, obviously.
Yeah.
This is why we need to fly in the sky.
No.
I wouldn't mind that. I'm going to be honest. I'm with Simone. The other thing that happened this week was obviously it's the 10-year anniversary since the London riots, which was sparked by Mark Duggan getting shot, right?
Yeah.
And it basically, there was a black contributor on LBC saying that he gets stopped a lot because he's black. And Tom Swarbrick, the presenter, said, well, I get stopped once, and I don't think it was because I'm white.
Oh, Tom.
And as he said that, the black contributor recoiled into themselves, sighed, and then Tom goes, well, why do you think you were stopped? And the black contributor just said, I just think clearly I was in the wrong place at the wrong time. He didn't want to contribute no more after that. And then people started calling in to Tom saying, how could you say that? You don't even want to acknowledge the fact of the possibility it could be because the guy was black. Then you had white people calling him saying, well, it's nothing to do with your colour. It's to do with your postcode and how you dress. You don't see black people in the city of London in suits getting stopped. and how do we feel about it?
Intersect a lot, but come on, yeah. Anyway, as soon as you said top small break, I'm like, yeah, you just know which ones lead which way and how they're gonna. You're just like, oh, whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think those discussions need to be had, because unless we do, it won't sort of change their mind frame or show us exactly, how these people think. And unfortunately, like I said, I've always said we are in a white country, so the majority don't live around black people. I think unfortunately people think that London is the be all and end all, so everywhere else, no one don't care about it. And unfortunately, that everywhere else is where a lot of the issues come from. But that is it's a beast of a conversation. Because personally, like I've always said, the government.
Do you know my issue with it is that gone.
Okay.
Yeah, my issue with it is that because a black lady called Sylvia called in and she said, why is it that we always have to educate you and you then challenge our lived experiences? And I was like, and she was going in on him. She weren't being rude, but she was just saying, you don't even want to acknowledge the possibility that his colour could be a factor as to why he's being stopped. She goes, even now as I'm speaking to you, you're just shutting me down and you refuse to acknowledge that that's a possibility. And then it dawned on me, that if this was any other thing and he said that, his career would be a wrap. If it was 1941, we're in Poland, and the Third Reich stopped me and I'm Jewish, and he says, well, the Third Reich stopped me and I don't think it's because I'm Jewish, it'd be like, so what? Like, if I was a woman telling you about my lived experience and he said, oh, I don't think, well, whatever happened to me and I don't think it's because I'm a man, again, it would be curtains for you. But because it's a black person you're speaking about, you feel you can just get away with saying that because you know there'll be no repercussions. Like, none. And that's what winds me up.
So, for me, the whole telltale sign is Windrush. Look what happened there. Look, how on earth did they get away with that? And no one's got sacked. No one, nothing.
No accountability.
But this government has got no conscience. They don't listen. Whatever they do, they're just like, oh, yeah, I did. Anyway.
Yeah, moving on. Yeah. Next.
That's literally how they behave.
Conscious, like people used to resign when they had messed up in the public eye, like done something. They used to resign. Where? No, they ain't got no shame.
No.
They've got no shame.
Agreed.
So, even from a black person point of view, in the workplace, things will happen, and a lot of time people will just keep quiet about it. And I think that's the problem. The problem is we are too nice about it. I'm not saying that we should kick up a fuss and start throwing hands. No, I'm not saying that. But I think it's too many things have happened, and we just let them roll over us, and we just carry on. If you think about it, a lot of black people do that. If you think about all the issues in life, we just kind of take it on the chin and keep moving. But for how long? How long are we going to continue to take things on the chin?
I think it's a good question. A lot of it is like, how many battles can you fight? Like, can you fight all the time? Because there's so many different issues coming at you every day, and a lot of them stem from the fact of your race. So it's like, eventually, at some point, you get tired. And you're just like, I have to prioritize my mental health. At some point, you can't fight anymore. But collectively, as a group, then we need to collectivize more and make strides together. But like, as a person, as a human, like, there's only so much you can do.
Well, you say that,
and I think that's why the black contributor, when he said that, he just didn't bother respond. He was all enthusiastic up until he said that, and then when he said that, you heard him sigh, and he was like, okay. He didn't even bother want to speak anymore.
Yeah.
When Tom Bulbrick said to him, why do you think you got stopped? He goes, I guess it was just in the wrong place at the wrong time. This is a black mentor of young people who was brought in to contribute to the show, and heard that comment and just thought, I ain't even bothering.
Yeah. So you already know where the conversation was going to end up after that.
Just like, throwing my pearls before swine, literally.
Yeah.
Yeah. See, I have to think about our ancestors and think about what they went through in order for us to get that freedom. And they went through some stuff, some serious stuff. So for us to have to combat and have to respond, for me, that's something we have to do. We can't just lie down and just keep taking it. I get your point, Liz, in regards to what battles you choose to fight, but I think at some point enough must be enough, and you have to start to and I don't think it's just a black fight. I think we need other races to jump on board as well, which will help to solve the issue, because to me it isn't just a black thing, it's a human race issue.
Yes. Yeah.
So when we get to that point, I think that's when I think things will start to change. But yeah, that's
we're not there yet.
Most definitely not. And to be honest with you, I can't see when we'll ever get there, because we are just looking at it from a very micro point of view in regards to the UK or America. What about the Far East? What about India? All these other countries where the same issue is, So, but yes, thanks for that, Liz. That was I was going to make a point though about this whole diesel stuff, because as you know, with anything, the government will introduce something and then give it 5-10 years, and then they'll move the goalposts. Yeah. So the same thing with the congestion charge. And then people went out and bought what were those cars that they bought? They were super silent. Pardon?
The hybrids.
Yeah, that's it. Because the government said, yeah, if you go out and do that, then you want to pay any congestion. They went out and done that. A few years later, what did the government do?
They implemented the congestion.
Bro, do you know what? It started, if you remember when we were in secondary school, Tony Blair, said diesel was more environmentally friendly, so everyone ran out and got a diesel. This is where it all stems from. And I'm like, am I the only one who remembers this? Like, everyone ran out and got a Ford Mondeo diesel car. At that time, I remember diesel was more cheaper than petrol. I'd go into the petrol station with my dad and I'd see the two prices. And diesel was way cheaper. Then they're like, oh, it turns out diesel's more expensive. We're going to introduce this £3,000 scrappage scheme for your diesel car. Now it's like, the ULEZ is kicking in October, and if you've got a diesel car, we're going to charge you £100 a day to drive in there. Like, yeah, which is 36 grand a year. Like, because my friend's got a diesel car and got the letter, so he can't go to work. Yeah, bro, he got the letter. Like, he cannot go to work in his car because where we work is on the borderline, innit? And it extends the whole of London. So you're right. They keep introducing things. If we all go electric, they're gonna have to give up road tax, fuel surcharge. So I'm like, where are you going to get that shortfall from? They'll probably say, oh, the electric cars are creating noise pollution and that's stressing people out. So, you're going to have to pay a noise pollution tax.
They'll find ways and means. They will find ways and means.
Yeah.
Ways
they can't find a way to sort out social care, but they'll find a new way to get to money. Oh, yeah.
Crazy. So, on that note, we're going to switch to our main topic for the day, which is double standards. So, a interesting one. Yeah. So, let's start off a bit light. Yeah. So, why is it that when females cry?
Oh, look, I'm going to drink my drink like this. Because he's going. He said light, and look how we started. Yeah, he said light, and look how we started.
You call light. I don't want to know what's heavy, man.
Innit? I'm drinking at the side of my mouth because I can't believe what he's saying.
I'm like, more tea, Elijah.
So, when females cry, go and comfort them, make sure they're okay. But then when men cry, it's like, oh, stop being a wuss, or, man up.
I don't say that, so I can't speak for people that say that. I don't say that. You are entitled to your feelings.
Find the other females that men that have no feelings.
Okay. Exactly. So, Links, you heard Simone's comment. So, if you was Links, you heard Simone's comments. So, would you be with a man that cried more than you?
Who did you ask?
This is to Simone.
Links. Oh, I thought it was asking Links.
No, so it's to
No,
Simone.
because I heard him say, "Would you date a man who cried more than you?" So I know you're talking to me.
It's just you.
what are you saying, Simone? What
And
are you
he's
saying?
and John,
Hey, Simone, I'm coming around, you know. Spreading rumors, you know. What are you talking about? She said that in her chest as well. Links, he's talking to you. I don't think he is, you know.
let me breathe.
I'm like, what is it? Shit, let me drink my drink again. Raw. Raw.
Take a sip.
It's a bit better than like the first the pension thing. Now this, like,
yeah, you like trying to write me off today.
All right, we're gonna edit that bit.
No, we're not.
Would I stay with a man that cried more than me?
Yes.
I would say no, but only because I don't like over emotional people. I feel like I'm an emotional personality myself, so therefore my mirror image of myself shouldn't be somebody too like-minded to me. So based on what I just said, my answer would be no.
Okay, same question to Liz. Would you be with a man that cried more than you?
I can't envision us being together in the first place.
Oh, so why is that?
Like, I fully appreciate a man being in touch with his feelings and being able to communicate his feelings and emotional intelligence. Mwah, love it. But literally crying more than me, I don't cry that much. Like, attraction, you know, is a big thing. You cry more than I'm crying, I'm like, what?
I'm glad you're rubbing your eyebrows. I'm glad. So, what do you think about hearing this? So, first, the female said that, you know, they have no problems with more crying. But when I put it to them, how they feel dating a man that cried more than them, straight away that's a turn off. So,
wait. Because that's not fair. That's not equal.
No.
Yes, we'd be okay with them crying more than me.
And if you were my best friend, we weren't in a relationship and you're crying more than me, that's absolutely fine.
She's talking about your man.
But no, my man,
Thanks, help me out here.
No, definitely not. I'm sorry, I can't.
Do you know, I can actually see where they're coming from, which is, I never thought I would. Like, normally when ladies say certain things, like, I'd be fine if my man, my BS meter goes up, but with you two, I believe you, like, and I can see where you're coming from. Probably because I wouldn't date a lady who's all the time crying and in her emotions, so I can sympathize from that perspective. Yeah, I've got nothing else to. I can see where they're coming from, Nelsie. Yeah, like when you think about it from a woman's perspective, a man shouldn't have to hide these feelings, even though we're taught we don't show certain things in that. But to cry depends what he's crying for. Like, I don't know. No, I agree with them. Like, yeah, it depends what he's crying for. But to cry more than them, that makes it sound like they've asked him to do something and he breaks that. Yeah. Or he comes home late and she's like hasn't cooked and he just starts breaking down like.
Or he gets man flu. That would be even worse.
Yeah, like, the man flu thing. Yeah, the man flu thing. I've always been like, I've always been like, wow, man flu. Where did that come from? Like, do you know it's actually proven that men feel the effects of flu more than women do? Yeah. Yeah. So all this time people have seen man flu.
It's science. Don't argue with science.
Yeah, and I'm like, wow, look at that.
Wow. Okay.
So
I didn't know that.
So in regards to, unfortunately, males or even females calling other females hoes, slags because they sleep around with multiple different men, but then when men do the same thing, it's kind of it hasn't got the same effect. Why do you think that is, Simone?
I don't know. I think it's just stereotyped by society, if I'm honest. When you think of, you know, they say what the gender role is for a lady, for a gentleman and stuff, and then you compare the two, it's not very fitting, and I can see why it's considered, to be extremely unladylike, to appear promiscuous and all that jazz. I don't know why men are able to get away with it and women are not. I think it's just because the society has always allowed it to be that way. I don't have a better answer, to be honest with you.
Is it right?
No, I don't think it's right. But as Whitney said, it's not right. But, you know, it always ends up being okay. So just the way it is, you know, c'est la vie.
Okay.
And it's hard to change the status quo as well. You know, it's become habit of years, of decades. So you can't expect like this. It's something that will be turned around. It will probably take years or decades to unravel that.
Okay. Liz, do you agree? Is it fair that a woman's labelled a whole, you know, she belongs to the streets, whereas the males, they're kind of celebrated, aren't they, really?
Mm.
It's definitely not fair, no, but yeah, like Sabo said, it's just the way it's always been, hasn't it? And to some extent, I feel like women do allow and perpetuate the same thing, because some of us are like, okay, I don't want no man that doesn't know what they're doing in the bedroom and this and that and the other.
Exactly.
And so like there's it's like I don't agree with it, but it is what it is.
Mm.
So, Links, do you think it's fair?
No, but I have noticed that if a girl owns it, like she totally tells you that she 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, she doesn't get called that typically because she owns it. It's when the girl tries to hide it and pretend she's something she's not, and then it comes out, that girl gets it worse than the girl who's openly doing it. I've noticed that over the last few years.
You reckon?
Yeah, I know
Yeah.
one or two or three girls who will openly tell you they've had mad amounts of partners in it. They have no shame in it, and I respect that, right? They don't pretend to be something they're not. And then I know, I think 1 or 2 girls who pretended to be a certain way, and then it turned out that they were moving the same way, just chastising. Yeah, they were chastising the girls that were openly moving that way, and then when it came out, those girls got the crucifixion in it. So
hypocrisy of it.
yeah, exactly. So I don't think it's fair. Like, I think if a man's that way, but then a man can be that way and women will still go there. Typically, if like a woman will have a relationship with that man as well. Yeah. Typically, if a woman is like that, a man will sleep with her, but he will have no intentions of having a relationship with her. Mm-hmm. So that whole mindset needs to change as well. Like, yeah, like, because if women start treating men who do that the same way men treat women who do that, it will change. But if women like entertain it, then because women are the ones who pick the sexual partners, right? Like me and you, Nelsy, could go outside right now and like nothing's gonna happen. Liz and Simone could go outside and there'll be a line of men, like so women pick the sexual partners, innit? So women are the actual ones who have the power to dictate how things move forward in that regard. Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, I think times have changed. Where I do agree with you in regards to, you know, if females go out on the street, you know, you get all sorts of men, you know, whereas you will get a few females, you know, in comparison to, you know, many years ago where it was a bit more reserved or on the D-low. But now I think women will chase as well, a lot more than they used to.
Yeah.
So, Simone, if your son was speaking with loads of females, and then he met a female who done the same thing, would you be happy that he picked up a female who was like that, or would you prefer him to be with someone who wasn't like that?
What, promiscuous?
Yeah.
Well, that's obvious. The least promiscuous, the better, please.
Even though he is.
Oh, well, my son wouldn't be raised that way.
No. Well,
if he was this way, if he did just the life he did pick up, I would not be impressed. And I say you will attract what you give out. That's what I would tell my child. So if you're going to be like that, you have to anticipate that potentially the universe is going to give it right back into you. And there's a very old saying, you make your bed, you lay in it. So would I like it? No. Would I have to live with it? Absolutely.
But like what Link said, unfortunately, males like the fact that a experienced woman would satisfy their needs, but they don't necessarily want to procreate with them. They want to have fun with them.
I mean, some of this comes down to the raising of the child, the communication between parents, mentors, stuff like that. I just don't think, I think a child has to go in, a son specifically on this occasion, as educated on the matter as possible. And if you still decide at the end, then that's the road you want to go. Again, I, as your mother, I'm not going to like it, but there's only so much power that I have. I can only advise. The rest is up to you. And I just have to pray, please, Jesus, that does not happen. Like, I'm touching wood right now as we speak.
So, Links, let's be honest, yes? As young boys...
Don't scare me, because I've got a daughter. Scaring me now.
As young boys, we're not thinking about, trying to, wife this person, that person. We're happy, if we can get as many as possible. Yes? So, whereas females at that age don't tend to think of things the same way, why do you think that is?
Again, I think it's the societal issue, isn't it, of how women are raised as opposed to men.
Yeah.
If you think about how I was in school, though, Nelsie and Lids, yeah, I was always in long-term relationships. And that's because I was raised predominantly by my mother and my cousin Diana. So they made me look at things from a woman's perspective, which is why I didn't ever treat women the way some of our friends was, Nelsie. I always used to say as well, bruv, if you have a daughter and a man like you treats her the way you're treating that woman, you can't complain, I remember saying that I won't mention them because they're not here to defend themselves, but if they were here, they will know I said that to a lot of our friends. So for me, I've always tried to do the right thing by women, but it's because my mum and my cousin, who are women, raised me in it. So I always thought of, if I was a woman, how would I like to be treated in this scenario? Ironically, it always led to that situation where women tell me, you're too nice. And then they go find a bad breed boy who treats them like dog s in it. Like, yeah, Lids, I know. That's another conversation for another day, innit? So, but you're right, Nelsie. What would happen was, if there was a girl who was notorious for having many partners, and as I'm saying this, I've got the girls in my head who was on my estate, yeah, I would avoid them. Like, no time of day. I'd prefer the girl who didn't have that reputation. Because for me as well, it's just no drama. I don't want boys coming up to me talking about her. Like,
yeah,
I don't want to have to call her and she doesn't pick up, and in my mind's like, where is she? Like, and I'm growing into a man. I've got all these, like, hormones going on. You know how we was when we were growing up, hotheads. Like, I'd have thought my reflection if it looks at me funny. Like, so I like, come on, I ain't got time for this. So yeah, that's exactly how it was.
Okay. So Lids, why is it that when a male hits a female, the whole world ends? But then when a female hits a male, that same energy doesn't seem to apply. It's like males look at him differently. They look at him like what's going on? Like, are you a wuss?
They should.
I
mean,
no, seriously, but think about it. So if I went and told one of my boys my missus is beating me, now how many men will feel confident to go and tell all the boys in a group chat that their missus is beating them?
Okay, now you said it like that, I understand the context better. Okay, I'm with you.
Yeah. So but sorry. So my question: why do you think that is?
Well, the all the baggage that we've placed around what it means to be a masculine man, isn't it? Like, it's like, if you're a masculine man, then you're not going to take certain things and I wear the pants, That's how we expect people to perform masculinity. So to know that you're taking licks from your woman, you don't want to say that to no one, because everyone's going to be like, oh yes, I'm this or whatever. But I mean, it happens. And if I think I'm thinking very carefully about how I say this. A lot of us maybe have seen or heard or know of people who've been through the reverse, like the male doing intimate partner violence on the woman. So like, just hearing the reverse of it is like, what? How? Huh? But it does exist. And to be honest, if I was to come across someone who said that they were in that situation and they did hold back, I would have way more respect for them for holding back. It's like, you can't say that the person is less of a man for the woman's behavior towards them. Like, they can't control what a woman's going to do. But if he can hold back and not retaliate, I would give them way like high respect, because at the end of the day, unless you're, I don't know, a bodybuilding woman and you're with a, smaller guy, how much is the woman hitting the man really going to do? Unless she's got a weapon in her hand or whatever. But by sheer physical force, most men are generally going to do more damage on a generally weaker woman,
So are you saying then
I think, Liz, though, you're referring to... Sorry, Nelsie. Oh, no, I was going to say, Liz, I think you're referring to or focusing more on the physical and not the the emotional and mental abuse of that. So, for example, so Nelsie and I can probably attest.
That's the question, really. That's why I was coming at it from that angle.
Okay.
Why didn't it?
Yeah.
Why?
Because I'm pretty sure Nelsie and I can admit that we've had girlfriends who have hit us. Not like just jokingly, innit? I've cracked a joke she didn't like and she's hit me. Right? Now, frame that the other way round. She cracks a joke I don't like and I hit her. It's not a little tap, Like, she's hit me. Like, not in the face or nothing. But that's like, I've asked this question. I've had this conversation with women before. Like, you've probably hit your partners in the past. Simone, you probably, like, jokingly, don't say that.
No, I'm sure he's had quite a few real ones. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah, see? And that's what I'm saying. But that, I don't know why that's acceptable. Like, don't put your hands on me and I won't put my hands on you. I'm human. I remember one time, like, I was having a conversation with my friends and I'm like, oh, I've never been hit in my face, whatever. And the girl I was seeing at the time slapped me in the face, innit? Hard. Just to be like, now you've been hit in the face. Yeah. And Nelsie, growing up, I did martial arts. I felt a hit and I didn't see, and I swang in it, like, and then I saw her and I just put my hands down in it. But like, she knows who she is as well. Like, she almost got spun. Like, and I saw a policeman trying to, I think he was with us this day, Nelsie. This was decades ago, down Leicester Square, trying to restrain this girl. And she hit him in the face. He just hit her back, but he didn't mean to. It's human reaction, innit? And everyone was coming down on the policeman, and I'm just like, no one should be hitting anyone, male or female. Like, but it seems like women can hit men, and it's a joke. I'm not talking about the physical abuse, like the women really going for it. But if I hit you as a joke, Liz, even as a joke, like, we could be out on road and we've known each other like most of our lives. The social reaction to me hitting you compared to you hitting me as a joke, I'd be done. Yeah.
That's true. And it's not okay.
Yeah, no, it's not okay to hit people.
Okay.
Yeah. I've seen women who have sons. Like, my sister had a kid in it. And if a girl his age hits him, she will flip out. But I know my sister has hit her partner. Like, Do you get me? Like, I don't even have to ask her. I know she has done that. Like, but yeah, if someone hits her son, a girl hits her son, she's gonna flip out. So
yeah, I hear that.
So Liz, would you have less respect for a man who basically responded to him being hit by a female, even though she hit him first?
If you want me to compare, like, a woman hit this person and he restrained himself, and a woman hit this person and he hit her back, I'm gonna respect this one more. I'm not saying that, because it's a level of restraint that, like, you'd have to respect, and because you know what the implication would be of retaliating, and the fact that they were able to restrain, I would respect them more. I'm not gonna lie, I would respect them more. I'm not saying that the woman is right in any case, but if you're asking me on the face of it, honestly, that's the truth.
I personally think that is mad, only because, so what you're saying is, because the person did not, so for example, so she slaps him and he doesn't do nothing, he just holds back and does nothing, yeah? So because the other person slaps her back, you have more respect for the person who doesn't slap back, only because she's a female. Is that why? That's what it sounds like to me.
It's not only because she's a female, but that's the scenario you presented to me. If we're talking about a woman hitting a man and then the man doesn't do anything back, you're asking me, would I respect the one that hits back less? Or I would respect the one that holds back more. I'm not saying that it's right that he's got hit, but I'm just telling the truth. That's just my truth. I would respect the one that holds back more. I'm not saying that I would berate the one that hits back. I'm not saying that they're a monster, because I don't know the story. There's a long story behind all of this stuff. You're just giving me just a dry scenario like that. I'm just telling the truth. On the face of it, I would, yeah.
Do you agree, Simone?
This is triggering, this conversation. I remember I used to go around hitting the boys in my secondary school all the time.
Yeah, I remember, Liz. I remember. We went to the same secondary school, you know. I remember. I'm glad you mentioned it. I didn't want to throw away the days.
I did.
Where my water at? Whenever someone still says Lydia, I'm like, where?
Yeah, I think it's a really tough subject. I mean, I've always told my children, if somebody hits you, hit them back. I've also told my daughter that if you are going to hit a guy, brace yourself, because you have to be ready to be able to accept a box back. Do not give what you cannot think you can receive back. And that's how I think I will continue to raise my children on the subject. If a girl hits my son and my son instant reaction is to hit her back, okay, I'm not going to be over impressed with my sons, but to the girl, I'll be like, well, you should have kept your hands to yourself, because for every action has a reaction and there are consequences.
And that's how angels watching over me during secondary school.
And that's how I feel about the situation. Don't touch my boy won't touch you. Psh, that's how I feel.
So I see you linked nodding in agreement. So if your sister's partner slapped her back, meaning your sister, how would you feel about that? And you was there.
Well, if I'm there, like, that's a different scenario, isn't it? Like, because I am gonna react because I'm the older sibling and I've got to protect my sister, innit? But if she tells me the situation, I hit him and he hit me, like Simone said, my sister's always, you both know my sister if you remember her. She's always been that girl that walked in and picked fights with boys. Like, she's always been that person. So for her to get another box from a guy, like, she's never had that in her adult life. I must clarify that. Yeah, I'm talking about my sister in school. Yeah, her first day of school. I think again, someone said if someone hits you, pick something up and go hit them. So she went out of school and picked up a brick in it to go beat this boy up with. Yeah, my sister was on smoke. Like, she's thankfully grown out of that as she's turned into a woman, innit? But yeah, that's a hard one, Nosy, because if she hit him and he just hit her back reactionary, yeah, I wouldn't like it, but I think I would understand it, innit? But if I find out that he's been abusing my sister, like beating her, or she hit him, he thought about it, composed himself, and then hit her back, he's getting dealt with. Like
See,
that's it.
That's where I think there's a double standard here, because if the female slaps the guy,
we
are more inclined to feel more supportive towards her. Whereas when the guy slaps back, everyone's straight away, thinking, no, that's just wrong. Now,
I think that's because, gentlemen, like Natural Love Song said, you guys are traditionally stronger, so the damage that you're going to cause to a woman is probably 95% more likely than the reverse happening to you without that said woman having a weapon or something to damage you. So when you get a slap, I'm not saying she ain't going to leave a mark, but when you give a slap, being as strong as you are, you're going to cause more damage to the woman than she's going to do to you. So the question is, where is the reasonable amount of force where people don't think, oh, you guys are bang out of order, like you thumped her down? Do you get what I mean?
But the issue is the fact that you're saying that, and females, throughout the generations have known that we are stronger.
Yeah. I'm just playing devil's advocate. I still think if you hit, you should be prepared to get a box back.
So the fact that females know that, but yet they still are inclined to want to throw a slap or hit, the first hit. The reason why they do that because they know that they can get away with it. Whereas if they knew that the man was going to hit them back straight away, most of them probably wouldn't do it. So,
true.
I'm not saying that is the way forward because, personally, I teach both my sons and my daughter to keep your hand to yourself. Period. Yeah. Because once you start to throw hands, now you cannot just say, because he's a male, he should learn to restrain himself. Because as we all know, males are also human. We've got emotions too. It's just because you get irate and then want to start throwing hands, if you get a clap back, yes, it might be harder because the man's stronger, but unfortunately, that's your fault, isn't it? You should have kept your hands to yourself.
Agree with what you're saying, Nosy. I agree with what you're saying. I'm playing a sense. I remember there's a video, I don't know if he's not saw it, of a girl on a bus talking wild to the bus driver. And she was hitting him and he just uppercutted her. He didn't slap her. He uppercutted, like
Jesus. That's unnecessary.
Yeah, it was so unnecessary. She was talking wild though, and she was on all the smoke in it. But when he hit her, Nosy, I could tell this guy was a professional boxer back in the day, because it was shush time. She was knocked out, and it was perfect. And I'm like, bro, you didn't have to hit her like that. Like, head gone, bro. Yeah. And it was just one punch, but that's all it needed. But she was hitting him and everything. But that's what I mean, Nosy. Like, if like. You can hit back, but it's how you hit back, innit? Like,
let's
like
quantify it, because I'm not saying if she punches you, you must punch her back, because we know that.
That's what I'm saying.
That's a slap.
I agree. No one should get hit. No one should get hit.
I think everyone should.
But if a woman hits me and you get hit back, it doesn't mean I beat women. I just reacted. I'm a human being, and I apologize. It shouldn't define my whole character. However, if I uppercut a woman, or right hook a woman.
Oh, that's premeditated.
There's something wrong with me there. Yeah,
absolutely.
So
yeah, I think that's a bit excessive. I've seen a few like that.
I've seen guys blow a woman in her stomach and wind her, and I'm like, whoa, something about that felt wrong to me. But
if you saw the female doing the same thing to the male, would you feel the same way?
Come on, you can't even ask that question. Does she have a weapon? Because her blowing a man, Look, your wife doing that to your stomach and you doing that to your wife is two different things.
I don't think a woman. I don't think I'm gonna like. She would have to be a man. She would have to be a boxer, innit? But a woman hitting me, I can't see her winding me, innit? If I did see a woman hit I know some women can. If I see a woman, I'll be honest. If I see a woman hit a man in the stomach and wind him, I'm gonna think that was a damn good punch.
You could be impressed.
Yeah, I'll be impressed. But whatever happens to her after that is on you. Like, although he's not gonna do anything if she's winded him.
I'm sorry. There are some strong women out there. I'm telling you. Yeah.
Yeah. Bro, I'm not gonna lie. If we were out and a woman punched you and winded you, Nazi, I am going to clown you, innit? Like, that's just me. I'm gonna bring that up every day. We'll be in an old people's home, and I'm like, hey, I'm gonna punch you, and you painted yourself a little.
It's Martin Lawrence's voice, Eddie.
Exactly, innit? I'm never letting that go, Nelsie. Like, even when you get your breath back, I'm like, you gonna do something? You want me to jump in? Like, that's how I am, innit? Like, I just can't help it. There's certain things I'll see a woman do to a man. I'm like, nah, bro, you can't let her do that. If Lydia or Simone got me in a headlock, wait, Lydia, did you get me in a headlock in secondary school? Why am I having flashbacks? I'm pretty sure Lydia got me in a headlock. I don't know. But, like, you get me? Like, you better pick her up and tombstone her or suplex her or something, bro. Like, I'm sure no one will complain if you did that.
That's aggressive.
None of this cosmic retaliation come from my door, man. Oh my God.
But I'm saying, Nelsie, all right, Nelsie, let me ask a question back to you. You see a woman wind a man, what are you thinking?
You know what?
Yeah.
You know what?
Exactly.
Listen,
on his face.
I think I'm a different breed, and though I would not condone him winding her back because I can see him probably taking her out completely. But if he does retaliate, you know what? I'm going to be saying, well,
me as well.
Your hand to yourself.
But you would find it funny, right, that she winded him? Think about it, bro. Me and you are walking and a woman wins me. A woman wins me, bro.
No,
you're going to find that funny. I know you. Don't lie. I'm not listening.
It depends. So
this guy's going to laugh me out.
No, it depends. There are certain scenarios where I've seen things go from 1 to 8 within seconds. Yeah? And you're like,
Nosy, me and you are walking down the street, yeah? And some woman's talking trash and I start giving it back, innit? And she says, yeah? And she just goes, click. And I'm like, and she just bops off. She picks up her shopping and bops off. You're gonna laugh at me, bro. The whole car journey home.
Okay, yes.
You're gonna text, you're gonna WhatsApp me. Yeah. You're gonna be sending me gifts. The whole shebang.
In that scenario, yes.
Yeah, exactly. Yes. Okay, I'm glad you're being honest.
Thinking of, a couple arguing on the street and then she wins him. Yeah? And everyone's like, ooh. No. It's slightly different because
Brian, oh God. Okay. Has to stay on the Big Life Struggles podcast.
So, Link, it's slightly different only because, yeah, you know how when two couples are having a big old argument.
That's why it cracks me up. Yeah.
And then suddenly she just hooks him. Yeah.
Yeah, she hooks him and takes him out. I'll be like, yo, my guy. Don't argue with her no more, innit?
Leave that one alone.
She's not about it.
Red flags. Oh, pay attention to red flags, yeah? It's muy importante.
Yeah, exactly.
I think once a relationship heads in that direction, I think it's time to walk away. I think both need to go in different directions.
Yeah, call it a day. It's done.
Yeah, remove yourself from the equation.
You cross that line,
absolutely.
And I think it's time for both just to
absolutely.
Okay, so
well said.
Why do you think when a man abandons his family, it seems as it's bad, but it's not that bad. But when a female abandons her family, it's the end of the world. Why do you think that is, Lid?
Socialization. Mothers are supposed to mother no matter what. Men, oh, you lot are so, you know, you lot are rubbish, you lot want to leave, men are trash, da 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 da, all these, you know. So it's like, oh, another deadbeat dad, whoop-de-doo, you know. If a mom does, it's like, what do you mean? Like, what do you mean? I don't think it's right.
No.
But
You know? Why do you think that is?
I don't know. Again, I'm gonna have to agree with Lids. I think it's just a natural expectation of a mother to stick around and to nurture and all that jazz, while it's considered normal or acceptable that a guy can go on and, you know, leave the woman with the baby and go and live a single life. I don't know why. I'm not in agreement with it, I will say that, but I don't have a good answer why that is.
Yeah, Lid, you know.
Well, everything around us has that structure, doesn't it? Animals, the male will breed a female and then move on. There's very few animals where they actually stay together as couples. Like wolves mate for life. I think dolphins and penguins do.
Mm-hmm.
So humans, I guess, males are no different. Subconsciously, we know that. Also, men are better at compartmentalization than women. So we can have a family, compartmentalize that, go off somewhere else and have another family. Like, I think it's seen as weird when women do it because you've just left that child that you carried for that amount of time. Not so much the father, it's the aspect of leaving the child. I think society's like, wow, you just left your child. Like, how could you do that? But maybe that woman's just got supreme compartmentalization. Like, I don't understand how, woman could leave her child. Like, do you not think about it? But then, as you know, my biological father went around as much growing up, and I'm like, does he not think about me? So the same thing goes through the head, whether it's for me as a child, whether it was my mum or dad. But I'd be heartbroken if my mum did it to me. Like,
that was going to be my next point. Because those who say that,
I would be crushed.
If your mother abandoned you, it's like a completely different ball game.
I would be crushed. I don't know why that is. I have no answer. But if my mum ever did that to me, I had nightmares as a kid. Maybe because my dad just vanished, but I had dreams that my mum, she just weren't there one day, and it'd be a reoccurring nightmare. Like, and then I saw James Brown's mum did it to him, and then he ran into her, and she denied that he was hers. And I was like, whoa, yeah. And said he got big and famous, and she tried to come back. And I was like, yeah. And I was like, whoa. Yeah, so. And then look how James Brown cheated women after that. So he didn't have a positive female role model growing up. All he had was his dad, who didn't know how to treat women either. So,
do you agree, Simone, that the female leaving has a greater impact than the male leaving the children?
Yeah, I would have to agree with that. I hate to say it again because of the whole maternal thing and all that jazz, and, you know, you hold the baby and, you know, I keep saying it, but I do think it does real truth to me when I compare myself. Yeah. And I wouldn't, I would just say it. I believe I am the better parent. With regards to me being a single woman with my 3 children, I know when I go to bed at night, I sleep well knowing that my children are with the better parent. And that's just the way the cookie crumbles again. It's just going to be my new saying. It's just the way it is. But to maturity, the stability you can provide, so on and so forth. If the other partner could do equal or better, wonderful. But if the partner cannot, and I'm just generalizing right now, not talking about me specifically, then, you know, like, I mean, let's be honest. How many men take a woman to court to say, I'm going to be the better parent, I want to take my child, give me the responsibility of my child? I'm not saying it's impossible. I know of 1 or 2 at the top of my head, but it is few and far between. So because of that, society will, even a court, you have to be a pretty shitey mum to have your children taken away from you in the UK. You got more chance of it happening in the States. Ludacris is prime example. Chris Brown is prime example. But in the UK, in the eyes of the law, unless the mum's really, really, really bad, the children are in the better hands of the mother. They will always be given back to the mum. Not a lot of dads will go to court and say, yeah, I want my baby. Give me my baby. Give me my child. They don't do it. And you know why? Because they're not around. They've gone wherever they've gone in the world and reproduced, or even not reproduced, but left that family and made a new life somewhere else.
I have to agree with you on that point, unfortunately.
Wow, that's the first. Is this recording? This is recording. 14 years, Melzy, and I agree, and I got witnesses too. Wow.
Yes, unfortunately.
Pat my back.
Yeah, so Liz, why do you think that when men go after younger females, it's now deemed acceptable, and everyone kind of looks up to that person, but when a older female goes with a younger male, they're deemed as cradle snatchers. What's the other terms for them?
Is that Kruger?
Kruger, yeah. Yes. Why is that?
Why is that?
I don't know. It's just life. It is what it is. I don't have a pithy quote about that one. I don't know.
It's the things that society again finds socially acceptable.
But is it really?
Well, I think, you should be able to choose whoever you want, to be quite frank. As long as you're both consenting adults, your decisions are yours. That's what I think.
So you're saying then, if the male's 50 and the female's 18, she's an adult, you think that's acceptable?
That is a big, huge age gap. But at the same time, that female is legal to do what she likes. She will learn by her experiences. And sometimes if you can't hear, you will feel.
Hold up. I thought you just said a minute ago that it doesn't matter as long as it's two
It doesn't
adults.
matter.
And now you're saying that she will.
Yeah,
she will
exactly.
Feel. How will she feel?
No. What I'm saying is
the bank, Simone.
No. Okay, let me start again. You're 18 and he's 50. You're consenting adults. If it works out, fantabulous. If it doesn't work out, you will learn from your experience. And then on her next partner, she might think, actually, he was a little bit too old for me. Let me get someone closer to my age range. But people, don't forget, some women are attracted to older men. My sister personally, her husband is 15 years older than her. My sister's only a year older than me. So if that's your type, that's your type.
Okay. So, Links, do you agree? It is acceptable that we have no issues with males dating younger females, but the other way around, it's a problem.
It's a weird one, because men are seen as the more like dominant, the power figure. So why is it a problem if an older woman dates a young? He should be able to protect himself, right, from whatever you think that older woman's going to put him through. But then, if an older man dates a younger woman, it's always she's just after his money. Like, you get that a lot. Like, and I'm like, why are you not concerned about the younger woman's safety? It's so weird how it totally flips once you've got an older woman and an older man because if that again.
Yeah, and I was going to ask, why are we concerned about her safety? When would we be concerned about her safety if she was 18 and the man was 20? We should equally be concerned about her safety whether he's 20 or 50. Surely.
Yeah, and that's my point. Like,
but isn't the point that the older he is, there's a higher chance that he may mentally manipulate her, because obviously she hasn't got that life experience in order to know how to maneuver. So
that's based on assumption, right?
Of course.
Because we can't generalize all men to be that way, surely.
of course. But generally, we know that obviously the younger you are, you're not as experienced as someone who's in their 50s based on what they've been through throughout their life. So I can see why a parent might be concerned that, you know, he's not appropriate for her for those reasons. Do you agree, Lid, or not?
Yeah, I do agree. I do agree that where there's a significant age gap on both, whichever end, there's more scope for the older partner to manipulate, coerce, wield their power in a kind of, you know, not unhealthy way. And I think that more so now it's becoming more kind of examined about power, because even if it is a woman that's the older one, and for example they got together through some kind of career thing, or you know, there's some power inequality, people are examining it more based on that now. And so a woman taking up a, you know, really like 20 years younger guy, there's more scrutiny on both older partners now, I believe. Yeah, and there's definitely more scope for you to be manipulated if the person is way more experienced than you, and you feel like, okay, well, I haven't had that many relationships. If this is the way you say it goes, then I mean, okay, fair enough. All right, and then, you know, you can end up in some seriously off situations, and they're like, no, this ain't how it's supposed to go. Help! But it's too late.
So we all know that we see lots of males with younger females, but we don't see that many young males with older females. So they tend to say, you know, once they kind of hit over that sort of 40 mark, they're sort of gone downhill. Why do you think that is the case?
Are you talking about women?
Women, yes.
I'm gonna sip my drinking. I'm gonna leave this to Simone and Liz. Yeah, because I ain't touching this one.
That's a wise man right there.
Yeah, do your thing, Nelsy, innit?
So when the male is in his 40s, 50s, or 60s, he's not deemed as over the hill. Why do you think that is, Liz?
Did you say lids or links?
Lids.
Okay.
So it depends on how he's aging, to be fair. I think we do tend to now say, you know, you're a little bit past it, my friend. You can't look like you used to. But if he's old and he's, you know, the beard is sitting right, you know, and the
salt and pepper beard, yeah, man.
Or he is balding, but he's just, you know, done the rest, and you know, and you know, we could deal with a little rich uncle vibes. Not
absolutely.
But, yeah, but women, I believe that now there's a bit more. It depends on where you are in the if it's the marriage market for you or the relationship market. If you're in a certain age range, if you have children, if you don't have children, all these things factor into it. So like at 40, if she still looks good, if you don't necessarily want children to be a must, like who says she's over the hill? I don't know. I'm not looking for a woman over 40. I don't know. Tell me.
So, Links, would you have an issue going for a younger female when you're 50?
Yeah.
You would do. No lie now. Why is that?
Because I've always had this thing where, like, depending on what age I am, I won't date a girl below a certain age because I'll just feel weird. Like, so I think when I was 25, like the youngest girl I would try to date was like 20, like, and I've always kind of had that in my head, innit? Now I'm in my 30s. Like, if I get to know a girl and she's like 25 or 22 and I don't know, fair enough, innit? But if I find out beforehand, I probably will put the brakes on and make it just a friendship sort of thing before that, just because I would feel weird.
Would you date a female in her 50s?
bro, she looked like Salma Hayek or Angela Bassett all day. Like, I ain't gonna complain. I'll take her straight home to my mom. Like, twice. What are you talking about? You see how I didn't even have to pause? Angela Bassett, Salma Hayek, J-Lo. Look how I know all these older women, bro. Like, you think that's by a fluke? Yeah, like,
wait, hold on.
bro, what are you talking
How
about?
much do they earn?
If my girl looks better than yours, What you say?
How much do they earn? How many beauticians do they have?
Yeah, they
Exactly.
earn a lot. But
How
you
many
think it's the money that
have
makes
they
them
had?
look like that good? I don't think Angela Bassett's had any, you know.
I think she has.
I think she's
You
had
think she
some fillers and stuff like that. Yeah.
I'm gonna have to double check. No,
think-
but I still would. I don't know why I ain't pausing. I still would.
She's full of amazing praise. Come on.
She's had fillers and nip tucks. I guess I won't do that then, innit? When I know 20-year-olds who have nip tucks weekly and fillers weekly, like, bro, like, come on.
Okay.
Still don't like Angela.
Exactly.
Okay, so taking to you, Simone, why do you think that they class females as, you know, who are over 40 as sort of past it?
Oh.
Say it with me. Patriarchy.
I don't think a woman, and that kind of offends me, being almost 38. I don't really think a woman over 40 is past it. I think that's borderline offensive, actually. But I don't know. Do you think it is? And I'm not saying that I'm actually asking the question back to you. Is it because they think they're maybe past childbearing age? I don't know. Maybe that might have a mitigating factor.
I think that's where it stems from.
Yeah, that's where I kind of feel it might come from. Like, back in the day, we all know that having a baby at 17, 18, 19, 20, even up to 24 was considered absolutely normal. And this was the way of life. Way back when, a woman at 40, you're expecting probably to be closer to be a grandma than to be having your first child. So maybe that's why society thinks it that way.
Yeah, and also medically and health-wise, they do say the older you get, there's a greater risk that your child could have Down syndrome.
Well, once you pass the age of 36, you become high risk in a pregnancy. 36, and to be honest, 36 is not that old, but for childbearing, medically, that is quite an old age. From the age of 36, a woman's eggs start basically not being so nice, and that's when you got a greater chance of a child being born with a disability.
So even from a nature point of view, we know that the older the female gets, even with males, the sperm quality
declines.
The older the male gets, whereas the females, obviously it declines a lot faster, based on obviously the age of the female. Okay, so last question. So sexual comments in the workplace. Now, I've experienced personally where a sexual comment was made by a female and everyone just laughed. There was no one batted a eyelid. But I guarantee you, if a male came out and said a sexual comment to a female, everybody will be on his case. Now, Links, do you agree with that?
No, like, I see this happen in the media. So men will get chastised for saying certain things to women, and then like women will be on a talk show and say things about that man's appearance. Oh, you're so, and they'll be touching it. They'll be touching him and stuff.
Exactly.
And I'll be like, I always raise this when I see this. I'm like, what's that about? Because if I or any celebrity man did that to a woman, especially after this Me Too thing, it is over. I just don't understand why we just can't have balance. Like, men shouldn't do it to women and women shouldn't do it to men unless you know that person and it's fine. There was a sports pundit, female, who I think it's to do with basketball, a basketball commentator. She says, "Can I ask you a question or can I be frank?" And he goes, "You can be whatever you want to be with me, baby." That's what these exact comments. She paused and raised an eyebrow, innit? He got fired, yeah? I don't know if she came to his defense or anything, right? I think she was the one that raised the complaint. I then saw her a few weeks later with Shaq. And Shaq's making all these comments about her. It was mad uncomfortable. Like, I felt uneasy. She didn't do nothing about Shaq. She was just laughing, hitting him, the flirtatious stuff. And I'm like, wait. So Shaq making these overtly sexual comments towards you, you're okay with. But my guy doing that, that was a sexual comment, lost his job. Like, I just
because
don't
she
know.
was attracted to that guy, so therefore it didn't matter.
Exactly. Like, come on, man. That was my instincts as well, innit? Like, you clearly, Shaq's not even attractive, in my opinion, but you clearly, it must be his money, innit? Like, whatever reason, Shaq saying it, cool. Over and over again, cool. I know a very good story, but I don't know if I should bring it up because it's a true story.
Change the names. Change the names.
Hey, don't even use Nosy.
All right. Basic. One job I used to work in, there was a guy, and he was that guy that just like used to run through all the women in the office, right? Like, he had the gift of the gab in it, and he wasn't even subtle about it, so everyone knew what he was like, women and men, right? And then I was coming out the gym, and he's there talking to one girl, and I'm thinking, he's up to his old tricks, innit? Like, it's carried on for a few days. And then I walk into the office one day, and the girl in question's crying, innit? And all the other women in the office are around her, and they're talking to her. And she's like, oh, so-and-so, we did this, and I thought it was this, but it wasn't. He just used me, right? All the other girls now start being like, oh, he did the same thing to me. He did the same thing to me. He did the same thing to me. Like, they didn't know, right? But now I think they're feeling embarrassed, innit? Like, because all us lot are laughing about it. Like, come on, you know what he's like, da-da-da-da-da. They go to HR. Yeah? My guy loses his job. Gets suspended, loses his job. He's investigated, yeah? He goes to work somewhere else in the meantime. He's since met a woman who he's getting married to, innit? She's pregnant, having his kid. He has to go to court because they filed legal proceedings. It was in the local paper. Sexual predator does so-and-so to X many women in the office. And I'm like, I remember having this conversation with him. I'm like, you know, he's not that thing they're saying he is. But because you've taken it to HR and made a thing of it, you now can't take it back. Like, and I'm like, you all knew what he was doing. You all knew what he was like. Like, he didn't promise you something, like, he didn't force it on you. You were willing participants, but because you all feel a certain way, like scorned, you're now trying to get your revenge, and it's gone too far, innit? My guy went to prison for but yeah, bro, 13 months. Wrote for some sexual predator thing towards women, basically. Yeah, because there were so many women who complained in the office about it, and he had intercourse with them. Missed the birth of his kid. I don't know if he's still married. I've probably got the letters somewhere still from me writing to him inside. I couldn't believe that, bro. Like, if that was a woman who had done that to men in the office, that would never have got that far. Like, and that's a true story. I know the person who went through that and lived that. Like, and to this day, I've always been like, nah, man. I'm not gonna lie. He was a bit much in it, like, but I never saw him once physically put his hands on or do anything to a lady. Like, he would say things to women, yeah, and I'm like, that woman's gonna shut him down now, innit? And they never would. Like, do you get me? Like, if you didn't like what he was saying, there was your point to shut that down, innit? But they would entertain it, and then he would obviously go through and get whatever it was he wanted from them. And I'm just like, come on, man. Like, yeah.
I don't want to comment too much on that case because
that's a true story.
I don't know the details on it because on exactly what happened. It sounds like there's definitely more to this story because on the face of it, it does appear that if they're two consenting adults,
so I was thinking,
why would he go to
I think it was a number of women that came, like, bruv, the numbers were wild. I'm not gonna lie.
It could be 60 consenting women, but every single one was consent. Now, if you're telling me that there was a few that that wasn't consensual, then yes.
No, it wasn't that. I think, from my understanding, what it was women were saying, "Oh, he makes me feel uneasy in the office." Yeah, but those women who made those complaints, you've already slept with him. Do you get me? So, like, ain't it a coincidence that all the women that have raised those complaints happen to be the women that have already slept with him?
Relationship.
None of the other women who haven't slept with him have these complaints about him.
So is this jealousy?
That's what I'm saying. Is it that? Like, what was it? Was it that you all found out that you weren't special and you weren't the only one, and now you feel silly and stupid for compromising yourself? Yeah. So now you want revenge, innit? But at no point do I think they felt it was going to go that far.
Yeah.
Like, and once it's got that far, you can't then stand up when it's been put in the local paper and in court saying, "Oh, I want to take it back," because as a woman, that's now going to have social ramifications, on you. Like, and that's what I'm saying, LZ.
Yeah, I do think that, especially when it comes to sort of either harassment or sexual harassment, especially in the workplace, I do think that when it happens to males, it's kind of laughed off, and I've seen like where a woman's actually groped a man on his bottom in the workplace, and then he's married, and he turned around and said, "You can't do that," and that was it. And everyone's kind of like just laughing about it. But I guarantee you, if he groped her bottom, that'll be it. It'll be sacked.
Absolutely.
Gone. And these type of double standards, which I just can't take. I'm not saying that men should be going around office grabbing females. No, I think no one should be doing that
at all. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I agree.
Even in the media, where you see females who sleep with underage boys, it's
when you say underage, like it's illegal.
Yes, underage as in under 16.
Okay.
And also, the fact that they're a teacher as well, that also you can't do that. So for me, I've seen a lot of cases where the female gets off. There's one crazy case where the female saw the young boy who was playing football on the pitch, and he came into her house and she slept with him. But she goes,
he was like 11 years old, innit? He was like 11 or something, innit?
Yeah, some crazy age, yes.
Wow.
And then she goes, "Oh, I didn't know he was under 16." But I'm thinking, if that was a male, I guarantee you, he would locked up 6 years. There would be no questions. Everybody would be on his case.
No explanation even asked.
Exactly. And that's where I think it's the double standards. I think even though we've got laws in place, I just think that a lot of it is just lip service, because when it comes to the crunch, I think females do get a lighter sentence, and I think that they are deemed, they looked upon differently. Do you agree with it?
Yes, I do agree that there's differences, that there's definitely disparities at play. Some of it though is like, it's to do with how we see gender roles. Like some of the things, if you're going to go for pushing for all the way for equality, then when the woman's saying, well, I want exactly the same and then you can't, we have to make up our mind. Are we saying this or are we saying that? But there's always some gray in there, but there's definitely things that is just totally wrong. And women will play on the fact that the system is going to work in their favor. Like, there's some wicked people out there of both genders. Like, women really manipulate situations based on how they know that the system is skewed towards them. Yeah,
I agree.
Yeah, I think it's wrong. And even this whole, they want the male to be, what's the term they use when they open the doors for them, put out their seats?
Chivalrous.
That's it. Yes. But would you be, so based on equality, would you pull out a chair for a man, Simone?
Yeah.
You would.
I have no problem with that. I'm gonna sit down first.
And would you open the door for a man?
Be my guest. Why not?
Okay.
If I was in front of him first, again, yes, I would.
Would you live?
These don't bother me. I don't
opening the door.
see why these things are issues, to be honest.
Yeah, opening the door. Yeah, I would do that, but
Pulling out your chair?
I don't see myself pulling out a chair for you to sit down first. No, I don't. But I don't think that there's anything.
As long as I'm eating, I really don't care.
Yeah.
As long as I'm eating, it's absolutely fine. Absolutely fine. Have a seat. Have a
Fair enough.
drink.
Okay.
It's fine.
So, Links, why do you think that?
Not big deals. Do you know what I mean? Come on, there's bigger things.
No, I agree. But unfortunately, some women, though they want equality, it's like when it comes to certain things, that equality falls out the window.
They want it on their terms.
Exactly. And that, for me, is the problem. Because
I mean, if
there's nothing wrong with expectations. I don't think there's anything wrong.
It's not the woman that you're trying to draw. Like, everyone to each their own. Like, it's like this person, this online personality that we all kind of know of, like telling women, you know, how they ought to be and da 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 da. And, you know, it's like, how many of the men listening in your audience are that so-called high value man? Like, how many of you all are at this 6-7 figures and are getting these girls that are so far below your station? It's like, do you really have those problems?
No, but what his point was, it's the females who aren't on that level are wanting males on that level. So any males who approach them, they're basically straight away no. Why? Because you're not earning this, you're not working in these roles, and that's more his point in a sense of based off sort of equality. If I'm earning say 20 grand, then why am I then rejecting females that earn 20 grand? That's what it doesn't make sense, does it? Do you agree, Links?
Yeah, 100% agree. I've been on the receiving end of that, where I've had girls say, "Oh, my man needs to drive," and I'm like, "Do you drive? No. Do you have a car? No. Do you have a driver's license? No. Okay."
All the way down. No.
Yeah, it just trickled down.
But yeah, you're asking.
Like, yeah, can you cook? No. Okay. My mind's already checked out. Do you remember when I worked in game, and I remember these girls came in, 3 of them, and they were like, "Oh, he's kind of cute." Talking about me, right? And then they started to clown me. "Oh, I can't have a man that works in retail." Blah 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 blah. And then they started to dog me. Like, I'm like, cool, innit? Whatever. I had a long-term girlfriend at the time. Left.
You anyway.
Yeah. Got in my car, driving through West End. Who do I see at the bus stop? My car's brand new, fresh plate. Like, nosy. So I made a point, drop the window, and I remember the song, Neo, Stay With Me, innit? Like, and they're like, "Oh, you're not the guy from Game." They come running over. "You gonna give us a lift?" I'm like, "I would, but you know, I don't really want you to be seen with a guy that works in retail. Enjoy your bus ride. Put the window up, drove off." Like, yeah.
Love it.
It's so weird to me because, like, in my experience, from what I've seen of men, is that, like, I will walk into McDonald's or the cinema, and the girl that's serving me popcorn, if she's pretty and I find her attractive, I will talk to her and entertain her, innit? But I've had women just laugh at me who have earned more money than, or who are more educated than, which means my potential to earn more is more than you. And I'm like, why are you laughing at me for? Like, okay, so whatever, innit? It is what it is. Obviously, not all women are like that, but.
Did you want to make a final point?
No, because it's going to lead into a longer conversation. We'll save it.
Okay, great. So on that great note, I'm going to end for tonight. Do you want to give out your social, Simone?
No, thank you.
Fair enough. Great. No.
No, thank you.
Yeah, natural love song, and I just want to put out the disclaimer that I'm no longer randomly punching boys in the arm. In the past.
Okay. Links, do you want to give it your socials?
In Liz's defense, she didn't do it for no reason. I was a wind-up, so I most definitely would have said something and took it too far. We all know me and my mouth, innit? Right.
Okay. Do you want to give it your socials, Links?
So my website, www.iamlinks.com, and Instagram, just the Links Effect. That's me.
Okay, great. Well, thanks for joining, everyone. It's been great having you all.
Guys.
Have a great night, and I'll see you all on episode 7.
Brilliant.
See you soon.
Bye.
Bye.